Come back!
At everyone, please do not announce to the server when you are going to go masturbate. This has been a reoccurring issue, and I'm not sure why some people have such underdeveloped social skills that they think that a server full of mostly male strangers would need to know that. No one is going to be impressed and give you a high five, especially considering where that hand has been. I don't want to add this to the rules, since it would be embarrassing for new users to see that we have a problem with this. But it is going to be enforced as a rule from now on. If it occurs, you will be warned. Then additional occurrences will be dealt with at the discretion of mod staff. Thanks.
When the whole world was dragged into World War III, brave men like my father fought on the front lines. And they weren't alone. That was 20 years ago. Now it's up to us to carry on their legacy. And every so often, the earth from which we come gives way for something new. Something greater to be born, and with them, even greater threats to face. Bring it on! Phenomenova. For you, Dad. For you.
Someone says, what's the future? Vaughn Coleman.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome.
Lights, camera, action. Lights, camera, action.
What's going on, guys? Welcome. We are going to be just hanging out for probably about an hour or so, maybe not even. But I just, I wanted to just bring some people in. Let's talk a bit. Let's talk about some X-Men. I came back from the X-Men 97 stream. I am, of course, in my Cypher attire. As we get people in, I'm not sure if anyone's coming in, but as we do, I'm going to show my stuff because, ladies and gentlemen, we have only 48 hours left for you to back Phenomenova Issue 1 on Kickstarter. So if you want it on there, make sure that you back because Kickstarter is going to go away. This is the most fleeting one. So if you want it, go and get it. Now, of course, we also have Phenomenova Issue 1 on Indiegogo. So Indiegogo has 3 days of funding left. So if you want it on Indiegogo, I would start acting fast on there too. We are actually, if you're an Indiegogo person, and I make the most money off Fund My Comic backers, right? That's my preferred platform, but I like people's preferences. If we get just one more backer, we're over 1,000 on Indiegogo. But of course, if you want the most bang for your buck and you want to make sure I get the most money when you back the comic, what you're going to want to do is back it on Fund My Comic. Because when you do, you will get an exclusive free mini print by my buddy Zach. So Zach might be coming on tonight, might not. I'm not sure. We'll see. But if you back it on Fund My Comic, you will get this exclusive free mini print of our main villain, Dark Cloud. But even if you don't back on here, everyone, because we hit this 15K stretch goal, everyone is going to get this mini print. So if you want this mini print, you are guaranteed now to get it. So make sure you do it. And we are on our way to our next stretch goal. And we have been picking backers up at a pretty decent pace, guys. Like a very good pace. So here's what we've been doing. Let me go ahead. Let me find it because this was only like 30. This was like 30 away only a couple of days ago. We've gotten a lot of backers lately over the last couple of days. I was actually doing a better job of promoting my my Kickstarter. Next time, I'll have learned from my mistakes. I'll just say I'll have learned from my mistakes. And I have made quite a few. Quite a few. This is the art, the main pencil art for our next trading card. It was the winner of the fan art contest, Brett Barkley, was chosen, and then the chat got to decide what he was going to look like. And the chat has decided, or not what he was going to look like, I'm sorry, what the character... Hold on. Oh, I'm going to send this to my artist, actually, real quick. Which character he was going to draw. Hold on. Dude, I'm excited to show off my issue 2 cover, but obviously issue 1's got to come out first. You know what I mean? Hold on. But yeah, so this is a backer goal, and it's cumulative, which means so it was 15K across all the campaigns is what led us to get that first goal. Now on this goal, if it's a backer goal instead of a money goal, which means if we just get 300 backers across all 3 campaigns, Fund My Comic, Kickstarter, and Indiegogo, then that means everyone, all 300 of them, regardless of where they backed, will be able to get a free Dark Cloud trading card done by Brett Barkley. I want to make sure that my artist is like, because here's the thing, like Zach's, if you notice the helmet on the Zach mini print is done a little bit differently from how he appears in the comic. Yeah, this is my own character. I should really know the design by heart. Did I send him? Hang on, let me just check my DMs with Brett real quick. Oh, yeah. Oh my god, dude. Dark Cloud is such an amazing looking. I'm very proud of this. Very proud of this. I am dressed as Cypher from New Mutants. This is real. This is my attire I'm wearing at this time. But guys, so we have, if only 16 more people back, 16, everyone will be able to get that trading card for free with their order. And Brett will get his art out to that many people. So there we go. Sorry, I was just doing that. Yeah. So make sure it's a community effort, you know? So we have, let me just double check my math, but I believe we are 16 let me see, because we got 223 plus 19 plus 32. We have no wait. No, hold on. That's not right. 233 plus 19 plus 32. All right, only 16 backers away. Only 16 backers away from everyone getting that exclusive trading card. So, if you want it, and there might not be a Dark Cloud trading card for a couple of issues, you know. There might not be, because we're going to be introducing more characters. And here's the thing, guys. The faster we get to this goal, because this is going to be turning around fast. So if we get to this goal, it can lead us to our next goal and lead us to our next goal. So the faster we hit this goal, the further we can get and more free stuff you could possibly get. I want to give you guys as much as I can. What's going on, Ellie? How you doing? It was fun reading your stuff the other day. Today I spent all day just doing lettering revisions. Did Vaughn join a mime imp? No, I joined a group called the New Mutants. Perhaps you've heard of them. They're pretty cool. Pretty cool. Doug Ramsey. That's my name? Doug Ramsey. Oh, man. I'm close to hitting a lot of goals. A lot of goals. Silverline Comics. Never heard of Silverline Comics. Oh, wait, no, I'm subscribed to them. What am I talking about? All right. So, I guess we could talk about X-Men and stuff. I loved Wolverine and Deadpool. I thought that was a fun movie. Bobby and I talked for a while on the phone about it. About what we liked, what we think could have been improved on. Overall, we were both fans of the movie, which is good, which is always good. You shut up. The New Mutants are cool. Yes, Doug Ramsey, baby. Doug Ramsey, the number one Doug Ramsey fan around these parts is me, Vaughn Coleman. Cecil and I have infamously had debates on Cypher. And I think I'm the number one Cypher fan. Let's see. Someone was going to DM me about art, and she didn't get around to it. That's okay. I ended up... Maybe I'll hire her for something in the future. Oh, shit, actually. So I actually have to write, because what I'm doing with these trading cards is I have to write stuff about the characters. And my policy, at least for now, is I have to include something that wasn't in the issue. So that way, it's not just the cool art, but you also get cool writing from me. Something hasn't dead since 86. No, hang on. Fall of the Mutants was 88, I think. So I think he's been dead since 88. Because 86 was Mutant Massacre. And then there was like a year between that and the next event, which was Fall of the Mutants. Because then Inferno was 89. Because there were a lot of crossover events, but there wasn't like a big X-Men event in 87. And no, Cypher is alive again now because they could just kind of like resurrect everyone. I don't know about number one FF7 fan. I'm a big one. But yeah. How you guys doing? Has everyone here backed Phenomenova? I know Hobo. This has been a fun campaign. I think I'm only going to do, let me know what you guys think. I think I'm only going to do 3 covers for my next campaign. The book is also going to be cheaper next time, but it's going to be a fast turnaround time. We're going to do 24 pages and then get it out, and then 24 pages. Yep. 2 cover. Wait, hang on. I saw 1 Oh, no. That's right. 2. Yeah, Deadpool and Wolverine was great. I really liked it. I really enjoyed it, man. I had a lot of fun. My next issue that I have to read comics-wise is New Mutants 93, which is a Liefeld New Mutants issue that has Wolverine in it. In the last comic I read, because even though it came out later, it takes place beforehand, is I read, what was the name of the issue? I read New Mutants, or no, I read Wolverine Reign of Terror. That was more of a New Mutant story that just had Wolverine. It was okay. It was Peter David and Andy Kubert, which they're both really talented, but it was kind of like an Elseworld story, and I didn't really care about the fantasy shit. I don't know. It's like, oh, what if the New Mutants were like in a fantasy world? I'm like, okay. I prefer fewer covers, main variant, other variant. That's what I'm doing. I'm doing main variant. I was gonna do, because here's the thing. That's why I posted that thing on Twitter. I don't know if you guys saw it, but I posted. I was like, "What do you like most in a variant cover? Hot chicks, a named artist, or an homage cover?" And Hot Chicks won by a landslide. So my third cover is gonna be Hot Chicks. You're gonna get a named artist from the second, and then the main cover. Now, I was looking at my list earlier of cover ideas I had for issue 1, and they were cool. And then I threw it out because I was like, I don't need it. Because I distinctly had a cover idea for issue 2. But then I decided, over the course of this issue, I'm a changed man. And I was like, let my artist take the lead. And what he came up with was so much cooler than what I had in mind. I love it. So that's it. Yeah, you're going to get those. And it's going to be like a 24-page book. So I think I'm going to make it $10. And I'm going to sell as many of them as I can. But yeah, that's what I'm doing. No, you don't. You don't want that. You don't want that. No, I didn't close out. I'm close. I'm gonna close out once I'm ready to print. Which should hopefully. Here's the thing, because I'm looking. There were some setbacks, but like if it wasn't for, I'm just doing this tonight. I might even finish my revision notes tonight, or I might sleep on some of them and then wake up tomorrow to it. But I'm just doing my lettering revisions, and I'm like, you know what? I'm confident in the book, but I made a lot of dialogue revisions today. I'm very proud of all of them. I'm gonna send them to my letterer, clean my hands of it. Let's get the script out. I gave it to my mom. She went through a bunch of, because my mom didn't know like anything about it. She's like a grammar Nazi, which is good, which is where I got it from. So, and now she was like, this isn't clear. This didn't make sense. But she overall loved the story, and which is good. So that's happening. And man, no one's given me fucking feedback on my issue 2 script, and it's really annoying. Hold on, Phenomenal. I'm sending one of my editors something. Hold on. Sorry, dead air, I know. Sorry, yeah. No sexy Wolverine? No, unfortunately not. My mom is not an editor. She's a producer in the book. Not an editor. But she, it was also, it was like, it's a tough read for her because, like one of the characters is based on my dad to begin with, but she does, she's likes it. So. But yeah, man, it's been a great, like, just reading my comic that I put all this time into has been great. And now my artist and I have better synergy. I'm a better creator, and it's so great. And we're rolling into, I already have 2 covers done for issue 2. I got my first 3 pages thumbnailed. I'm very happy with this issue. My editor likes the issue. It's just a matter of making sure. Which script, Ellie? Because that happens all the time, dude. I think I wrote these issues during the pandemic. I wrote 8 or 11. I wrote 8 issues because it was 11, but then I made the first 3 issues into what is now issue 1 and made the last 2 into what was then issue 8. What are you wearing? You look like a twink bottom. You look like a bitch, comics mate. I look like Cypher from New Mutants. Is what I look like. That's who I look like. Comics mate. Oh, it's me, comics mate. Shut the fuck up. Oh, I'm from Australia. Dude, look, Zach's art is so good. It's so good. Yeah, man. No, I want to get this next book out. I want to do stand up and do a little twirl. What do you take me for? I'm not doing your bidding, bitch. Dude, oh my god, this is just it's so cool just like being able to work on like my dream projects, man. Oh man, I love it. It's issue 2. I really wish I need some issue 2 feedback sooner, rather than later. But yeah. This took a left turn. What took a left turn? Yeah, man. I it's so good. Yeah, I guess we're not talking about fucking because I thought the people from the X-Men 97. So I guess we're just not fucking gonna talk about X-Men. We could talk about Phenomenova. I don't give a shit. I don't give a fuck. You know what I mean? When's winter? You don't know when winter is? Oh, in Australia. Oh, right, yeah. Right, they forgot they have stupid idiot weather there. Our winter's kind of different. We're special. You saw that? Well, all right. The New Mutants movie was that movie was delayed so goddamn long that by the time it was actually kind of good for me when it came out because by the time it came out, I had by that point started Claremont's run. I didn't know who the New Mutants were when they announced it. And by the time it came out, I had read all the way through the Demon Bear saga. And I really liked it. Just kidding. I liked aspects of it, but it wasn't a good film. It really wasn't. What the why? First of all, yeah, that movie was delayed so fucking many. And wasn't it one of the first COVID releases? Wasn't it it was an early one, right? Totally was. Yeah, I don't know, dude. It was weird. Fucking weird. It sucked. All right, so here's the thing. First of all, what the hell was the new backstory for Magic? She created Limbo? So she can do that? Her backstory, she just goes, she was kidnapped or something, and then she made her pet dragon real. They don't explain how her soul sword works. They don't explain how Limbo works. What the fuck? What? But I just don't get what they were going for, man. It was so stupid. It was so dumb. The Gambit. Well, the Gambit stuff paid off kind of because Channing Tatum was in development hell for a long ass time. I'm got to Gambit fairly recently in the comics, so I don't know Gambit as well as a character as I know the others. Like I like only a few issues ago, which it was a year ago. So I've really been reading like X-Men spin-offs. I gotta finish it. But maybe I could if I hunker down, I could probably finish Claremont's run by the end of the year. But I did just get Jupiter, and I know Narwhal's books are on the way. See, they say that, but the woman. All right, first of all, I gotta say, Danny Moonstar. I know normally Magic's the hottest, but Danny Moonstar was the hottest in that movie. She would like Blue Hunt, beautiful woman. Beautiful woman. I gotta say it, dude. Like she Magic, great casting, dude. Like, come on. Come on. Blue Hunt, like, can we talk about stunner, man? Like, she's. Although, first of all, you know what's disappointing? Yep. Dude, she's. First of all, though, they didn't give her the signature hair. Danny Moonstar has the signature hair, and they didn't give that to her. Magic, they gave this. Magic, I love that they gave the hair to. But Magic was like a high school bitch. She's not like that in the comics. She tries to be nice and just has a little bit of a dark side. But she's a nice girl in the comics. She's not a bitch. But she'll be caught reading things like Playgirl, which I guess is the girl's Playboy. You know, she mentions that at one point. Or like little things like that. Or she'll have her like freakouts. But she's not a fucking bitch. Like people were like, oh, this is such an accurate portrayal of the character. And at the time I was reading the New Mutants run. And I was like, what are you talking about? Like she doesn't act like that at all. She's not a mean girl. She's got a dark side, but she's not mean. Like, Ileana was kind of a sweetheart. The one with the mean streak, but even then she wasn't like... They made Danny... Here's the thing, their personalities, if I'm being honest, didn't really match. Like, Danny was like the sweet new girl. And I think she was the right choice for a main character, but I felt like she was the entry character, which meant she had to be the new girl, and all the other ones are like crazier. And that's not really what Danny is. Danny... She was kind of, you know what I liked about the New Mutants is a lot of them were kind of like brash. Like she was very brash and kind of mean and angry in those earlier issues. Same with Sunspot. Both of them. The nicest one was like, the nicest ones were like Cannonball and Wolfsbane and then Karma. But like those two, like Sunspot and she was then called Psyche. They were the meanest. Yeah, Gambit was very polarizing when he came out. You either loved him or hated him. By the way, Ellie, if you want the link, let me know if you want to come in. Yeah, I've heard that. I've heard that some people didn't like him. I haven't had enough time to get attached to him at this point. Gambit is a character that I've always thought was cool, but he was never like in my top 10 personally. Maybe it's because I just didn't know him that well, but I don't know. He was never like, I never saw him as like one of the most important X-Men. I remember when Sunspot beat up the New Mutants. When was that? I'm trying to remember. Essence of the New Mutants. Like, what are they about? The New Mutants, so they're like the younger version of the X-Men, right? But what sets them apart, I would say, I think halfway through the run, they kind of went through a bit of an identity crisis. I don't know if it's an identity crisis or just weaker stories, but New Mutants, I'd say they don't have a solid rogues gallery necessarily. They're always just fighting new threats. I'd say it's like a coming of age book, definitely. That's a good question. Like, what is the essence of the New Mutants? Like, I feel like if I really... I'd say they're characters with a lot of trauma, building a family and kind of fighting. Normally, their threats are like otherworldly. Even if they're human, like Legion was kind of otherworldly in the sense that they got transported to another world. Or the Demon Bear Saga, they get transferred to another world. Yeah, you know what? That's what I'll say their main thing is. They're always fighting something that's otherworldly. You know, look at... I mean, I guess their first appearance is not that, actually, come to think of it. It's really not. Their first appearances, but most of their stuff, I would say like there's that my favorite New Mutant storyline actually would be the one that spins out a mutant massacre where like Warlock's dad attacks them right when they're teleporting away, and then they end up and like split across multiple different alternate timelines. They have to get together, go to that planet. That is my favorite. I'm gonna call that the Magus saga. That is my favorite New Mutant storyline. It's like 46 to 50. That is my favorite. Yeah, you know exactly what I'm talking about then. Yeah. That is my favorite New Mutant storyline, probably. Love it. I adore that storyline where they end up having to. Doug Ramsey has a great arc in that storyline. They end up bonding together. That's the first time. Well, no, actually, the first time was Asgardian Wars, but they bond together at the end of the storyline. Love it. Love it. Gambit replaced Longshot. So Longshot I like. But he was never my favorite. But he just kind of like leaves, and they're just like, okay, does he not come back in Claremont's run? Like, is he just kind of he's sitting on like on a mountain or something? He's like, I kind of want to go, and then he just leaves, and so he doesn't walk through the Siege Perilous, if I remember correctly. Yeah, Warlock. Dude, Warlock and Doug, their friendship was so great. And I love the way he talks. Actually, I read a Marvel Comics Presents thing, which is, I've only read 2 things from Scott Lobdell because I was originally like, oh, that guy, he just followed Claremont. He probably sucks. But I've read 2 things from Lobdell, and they were both spectacular. Like I read, because Mark Polton was the one I was like, who's your favorite writer? He goes, Scott Lobdell. People say Claremont, I say Scott Lobdell. And I was like, what? All right, let's see. And then there was a Nightcrawler, like one-off issue of Excalibur that I adored. And then I read, it was Marvel Comics Presents 70. Ellie, if you haven't read it, I want to say it's 74, 73, has a long, I just read it because it was in my reading order and they said it takes place chronologically at this point. This, it's only like an 8-page, it's like an 8-page Warlock story. And it's so well done. Like, I love the way he talks. Like, Self Friend, Self feels this. Like, this one girl, she says her name in a certain way. It's like, Miss Patty, please. And he just calls her that the whole issue. I love Warlock. So my favorite New Mutants are probably, yeah, Warlock's got to be up there. I'd say Magic, Mirage, Sunspot, Warlock, Cypher. Magma didn't get enough time because I think she has one of the coolest designs. I love her design. Like, because there's so many fire characters, right? But she's a unique looking one. I love Magma's design. Love her design. And I love her backstory, but they barely spent any time on her. It's okay, Gooch. No worries about it, pal. Yeah, I don't know how long I'm going to stay on, but I'll talk for a little bit longer. But, I mean, yeah, I love Magma. Love her. Great character. Yeah, man. Great character. I like, I feel like with Karma, they just kind of like yeeted her off and then kind of brought her back and then yeeted her away as soon as she was getting interesting. Like Karma feels like an afterthought. You want to shoot it? Dude, do I? I'd love to. New Mutants. All right, so I would say New Mutants was an influence. Yeah, actually, I would. Like more X-Men, but I would say New Mutants. Yeah, I would say I pull from some New Mutants in there. I don't reference them enough. New Teen Titans, New Mutants, Young Justice, the animated series, Teen Titans, Sam Raimi's Spider-Man, Stan Lee's Spider-Man run. Yeah, we could write something together, Ellie. I would do that. I don't know how many people would buy it, but I would do. I have an idea for a Final Fantasy fan film. I haven't. Yeah, we should brainstorm, dude. I would totally do a Doug Ramsey fan film. I just all my money and shit is going into my comic in time. I'm sure you can relate to that. But dude, I'd love to. Like, I love acting. I love directing. I love writing. I love doing film. If I could get, I would totally do something with Cypher. I'd said it during I like have it be like an in-between adventure. Like we'd have to pick some issue numbers and say this is when it's set. You know what we could even do? We could even have, because I've thought of this, like it would be a could be like set like just magic, because magic teleports through time. It could almost be like she fought and goes back in time to find him when he's after he's dead, or I don't know. There's directions we can go. That would be so cool though. I would love that, dude. Yeah, just a trailer, and then it could be like, yeah, dude. I love Doug Ramsey. I love him. Let's brainstorm something. I got to finish out my campaign. Well, just do. You could do fan film. You just can't make a profit off of them. Anyone can do a fan film. Is my understanding. Is anyone can do a fan film. You just can't sell it for a profit. Although I don't know why art prints and stuff are the exception, but they are. They are. What's up, John? Nothing much, just being a bum. Just talking about New Mutants. I love New Mutants. All right. Everyone drop your favorite New Mutant in the chat. Let's go. Here's the thing. I barely knew anything about them, like before I started reading. I started reading them knowing nothing about any of those characters. So I fell in love with them through the comics specifically. And that's part of why I love them. You know, I didn't know anything about any of them. Like, I remember my friend was like, you have to read New Mutants. I'm like, who are the New Mutants? Anyone I know? And he starts listing them off, even the most famous ones. And I'm like, I didn't even know who Magic was. I didn't know who any of them were. I was like, oh, that's Colossus has a sister? And even then, she's not one of the original New Mutants. She joins pretty early on, though. They get a lot of new members early on. They also lose Karma early on. And that's why I think, because I think that, so they introduced Magma during that early storyline, right? And then immediately after, she's going to be the center character, Magma. She gets one issue to shine, and then Magic joins the immediate next issue, the other blonde chick, which first of all, I love that they had very distinct hairstyles. They did a great job at making them all look unique. But the way she goes, it was immediately she's the new girl for about one issue, and then Magic immediately comes in, becomes the new girl, and suddenly she gets the spotlight because she's Colossus' sister and all this. And then immediately after, we get the Demon Bear saga, where who's the spotlight is Danny. So I think that's kind of what happened, and then they just kept going, and she just totally got lost in the shuffle. But if there's a few characters that are rated, Magma, or I would love to do a team of just underrated X-Men characters. Magma would be on there, and I want to create enough characters in my world where if there's characters that someone comes in and goes, "Hey, you're not doing much of this character. I'd love to see you do something." Was the show The Gifted based on New Mutants? Was it? Was it? Because I know it's based. Those are original characters for that show. I'm pretty sure. Warlock is a great choice. I love Warlock. He's one of the best character designs. Totally Sienkiewicz, but it's cool seeing other artists put in the work. I mean, Sienkiewicz is. Bob McLeod did an interesting one. Dude, Bob McLeod. My interview with Bob McLeod was so good. That was one of my best Von Cohen presents. Trying to think, obviously it would be a dream issue to get Sienkiewicz on, but that's probably not going to happen. Though Billy's gotten him. Well, anytime. I don't want to say never. I love Sienkiewicz would be one of my dream cover. Although technically my first published work has a Sienkiewicz cover on it because it's the trade paperback. So technically I have work in a Sienkiewicz book, if you want to put it that way. Legion is awesome. Legion first appeared in New Mutants. Yeah, he was first referenced in New Mutants and then first appeared because they mentioned in one of the earlier issues of New Mutants that Professor X has a son. Which is why people say it's essential reading, because you learn important information like that Professor X has a son in the pages of New Mutants. Or even Magneto, after 150, Magneto's redemption starts in the pages of New Mutants. But anyway, Legion first appears. That's during the Sienkiewicz one. That's one of my favorite stories too. Dude, yeah, the Legend. I didn't realize how much inking McCloud did because I knew when I really first I was reading the New Mutants graphic novel because I wasn't, to be honest, I wasn't paying that much attention to inkers. And I was like, oh my God, this Bob McCloud guy is amazing because his artwork in that original graphic novel is great. And I love that even though they had the same uniforms, every character had a distinct face, I don't like they totally have fucked over Cannonball, in my opinion. Like, he had a very distinct, and every other artist that followed him, in my opinion, did a good job of keeping Cannonball's hairstyle, his head shape, his ears, his tall, lanky physique. And then he started looking more and more like, if you look at when I was reading the New Mutant stuff, I was like, they made him look too normal. I haven't watched the show Legion, but I know that in the comics that I've read, because I've read the early, the first appearance of Legion, the first couple storylines. He's only appeared in one X-Men issue that I've read, and a couple of New Mutants ones. He's got a very childish mind in his default state, but then he's got all these other personalities. He's got there's this 4-issue storyline where they're trapped inside Legion's head and they're split up all over, and each one is guided by a different person who is a personality of Legion. There's a little girl, there's this Arabic guy, there's this John Wayne kind of guy, and it's each one is leading a different group. It's really interesting. Not yet. I'm sure it'll happen. No, he just looks like Cannonball has a very distinct look. I don't know. Bob McCloud just had the way of drawing all of them. They just, more so than even a lot of other characters, they had a very distinct facial structures, and I love that. Or even when they had two blonde girls that joined the team back to back, right? Amara and Magic. Even just in a silhouette, you could tell the difference because Amara had distinct curly hair, Magma, and then Magic has that distinct. And that's why I wanted my character to have kind of a distinct hairstyle. And I apologize, I drove my artist kind of crazy, but I wanted that. And then Magic has the bangs, right? Yes, Legion is the son of Xavier. Yes. Legion is the son of, so the way Professor X and he's actually in a way directly tied to Professor X and Magneto. So Professor X and Magneto originally met helping this woman out at a hospital. It was actually right before right around the time the New Mutants sprang up is when they reveal how Magneto and Professor X met, that they knew each other, right? That was an idea from Claremont. So they met in Israel trying to repair this woman's mind who was traumatized by the Holocaust, right? So Professor X came there because of his mental powers, except he was hiding that at the time because New Mutants was a thing. Magneto, he was a Holocaust survivor, right? So that's what they meet trying to help this woman. And then Hydra attacks trying to kill the Jews, and with Von Strucker. And they both, during this attack, reveal their powers. And that's when they go, oh, you're a mutant. You're a mutant too? And they kind of figure it out it's a great issue. And then Professor X ends up, I'm pretty sure he kills Von Strucker, right? Not Professor X, Magneto. And that was one of the things where it's that's their differences earlier on, is Professor X didn't believe in killing. And if I remember correctly, it's 160 is the name of the issue, or maybe it was 161. But it's one of the most important X-Men issues ever. It's a precursor to the Brood Saga. Oh, hang on. Uncanny X. Yeah, this issue. All right, so they meet, but they're repairing this woman's mind. Now, Professor X ends up falling in love with this woman, even though they don't get married. Clearly, stuff happens, and she ends up having his kid. So, Gabby Holler, right? Hang on. I'm trying to think. I thought, one second, I thought they kill. Doesn't Von Strucker die in this issue? Hold on, I thought Von Strucker died in this issue. Am I wrong? Why did I think he died? Hang on. So back. Hang on, I'm seeing. I thought Magneto like kills Von Strucker in this issue. One second. Infiltrate, blah blah blah. Oh, he collapses the cave on Von Strucker, seemingly killing him or something like that. Anyway, so they meet. So the chick that they were both going to heal, right? Like again, Magneto because he's a Holocaust survivor, and Professor X because he's a well-renowned scholar. But the real reason is because he's a psychic and wants to probe her mind and help her out. Professor X ends up being able to heal her due to his psychic abilities. The two form a relationship, and Gabby and him have a child together, and that child, of course. Except they don't realize it. So he gets her pregnant, but then he ends up leaving for one reason or another. I forget why. And she ends up revealing, like, there's an issue where they go to Israel to find her New Mutants, an early issue of New Mutants. And it's like, I think the first time you see her since this flashback issue, you see her in the present, and she's like, yeah, there's this mutant who need to stay at Moira McTaggart's facility. Like they bring her to Muir Island. And she's like, this is my son. And don't tell anyone this is Charles Xavier's son. Charles Xavier is the father. So Legion was like raised in secret from Charles Xavier because he left Israel. So Legion had his own, Daniel Haller had his own life away from Magneto. And then because he becomes, away from Professor X, and because he becomes too dangerous, he ends up being kind of imprisoned and like on Muir Island. The Von Strucker twins, see, they appear in Uncanny X-Men 200. They want to get revenge for their dad. That's why I thought that the dad died there. Because the Von Strucker twins, they want to get revenge for their father. That's why they interrupt the trial of Magneto in the comics, try and kill him during their trial. They have to hold hands to use their powers. That's the Von Strucker twins. Yeah, no, I mean Legion. I don't know the full extent of his powers, but I'm sure he got real, or does he have reality warp? I'm sure because if my understanding is because he has 20-something personalities. I've seen where I'm at in the comics. I've seen like a handful of them, but each one has like a different power. So I think he just has like a shitload of powers because I'm pretty sure one of his mutant abilities is like every time he develops new personality, he gets a new power. I'm pretty sure. See, they made her like sus in the new comics, but I like her. Like the Wonder Twins? Kind of, I guess. Or like what, Masi Manos? Yeah. So the Von Strucker twins, so yeah, it's supposed to be Trial Magneto. It's supposed to be that they're kind of like, yeah, they're supposed to be almost like his past coming back to haunt him because he like I thought killed their dad, but at least tried to kill the dad, almost killed something. There we go. These two. We are Fenris. That's what they call themselves. Fenris. They're not. These aren't the Von Struckers though in the show, are they? Or is she meant to be? Are they meant to be the Von Struckers? Or the Von Struckers? Because the Von Struckers, they have to touch hands and then they shoot stuff with like energy blasts. So they're not crazy powerful, but they were threats enough. John Romita Jr. Yeah, see, this is Trial of Magneto when they first show up. They summon Fenris. Well, the New Mutants don't face the Von Struckers, but they do face Legion. So all right, so they face Legion. Yeah, the Von Struckers are the New Mutants never fight them, at least in the original run. I have like 8 issues left, but I doubt they're gonna fight the Von Struckers during it. No, they fight like Legion, the Demon Bear, the Brood. Early on, they fight like the Brood Queen. So their first one of their early story arcs ties in. Obviously, they fight Sentinels. Yeah, dude, JR is awesome. I love JR. His X-Men run is underrated, very underrated. The Demon Bear. There's some storylines that I think were okay. I would say the New Mutants are like more experimental. They're kind of different types of storytelling. Like they don't fight straight up supervillains, really. Like they'll fight these guys in like this ancient Roman society. In one issue, they'll fight a demon bear. They'll go off planet. They'll go on time traveling adventures. Multiple times they went on time travel adventures. There are stories, the New Mutant stories. I would say I'd have to ask Chris Claremont like how he views it, but I would say the essence of them is their stories they're superheroes, but they're not standard superhero stories. They do horror, they do sci-fi, they do time travel. They kind of go and glow like all over. I feel like is the nature of the New Mutants. Is that their stories are always unique. You know, they always are doing something different. Is how I would describe it. Yeah, the Demon Bear saga is the most iconic. It's the one that the movie is based on. The most iconic New Mutant storyline is the Demon Bear saga, and it's the one that really put Sienkiewicz on the map. I have the trade of it, dude. I love the Demon Bear saga. I love it. So good, so good. Right here, Demon Bear saga. This is I know like this is the most iconic cover. I have them all. This is my favorite though. This is probably my favorite New Mutants cover. Them all attacking the Demon Bear. Magma on the cover. Dude, again, Magma, very underrated. See, there we go. Magma again. That's the final chapter of the Demon Bear saga. You got the Sienkiewicz painted covers, but yeah, dude. I read the first however many issues digitally. But then I got this one physically because I wanted to. Dude, he's so good, man. Sienkiewicz is so good. Bill Sienkiewicz. So Bill Sienkiewicz took over and the style became totally different. Like totally different. Like it was more, not in a bad way, but it was more like traditional. Well, so it was like Bob McLeod has a very distinct style, and then they tried to kind of ape that. No, Polaris was not a New Mutant. Never New Mutant. So she was an early X-Men character. Polaris was not. Here's the thing: New Mutants really, if you don't, because this is one of the things I learned because I knew a lot of X-Men related characters like Polaris, whatever, and I was like, New Mutants must be some of them. No, New Mutants are basically their own thing. Although the most well-known ones are probably the ones that I'm about to get to, like the ones at the end of the run that show up. The last couple when it starts turning into X-Force, which is what I'm getting to. Like Cable just showed up at the ends of New Mutants and it's slowly starting to morph into a different series. But like New Mutants are like Magic. Let's see if I can so the original 5 are Karma, Mirage, although she was Psyche in her first appearance, but Karma, Mirage, Cannonball, Sunspot, Wolfsbane. And then they introduce Magma, Magic, Cypher, Warlock. And for a bit, there's like 9. Well, and then Karma goes away. But there's like 9 New Mutants for a while, which is really cool. It was a big team. They had 9 members. And then they start kind of getting rid of some. And then they add the X Factor, meanwhile, were getting their own. There was like the X Factor had their team, and then they had a mini team that were called Exterminators, like within X Factor. It's a whole. They had their own teenage sidekicks that end up joining the New Mutants. So then those characters were like Skids, Fire Fist. Did they ever call him Fire Fist in that run? I know they called him that later, but like Rusty Collins, Fire Fist, Boom Boom, Like she was on Fallen Angels, but anyway, they started throwing basically all the other X-Men teenage characters except for Kitty Pryde. Although Kitty Pryde is in one issue as kind of a member of the team of New Mutants, but they start throwing all these other teenage characters at the time onto the New Mutants towards the end. But no, those are the New Mutants characters. It's those characters that I mentioned. No, Polaris was an adult at that time. The New Mutants were teenagers. So that's what the New Mutants were. They kind of had like some darkish stories. They'd have I feel like New Mutants had more experimental stories. Like even then, when the new run started up, they were sending them on intergalactic missions. That's the nature. New Mutants, I feel like, is dark. It's a darker story than X-Men. It's darker. It's more human. You know what I'd say? New Mutants, if I were to describe the essence of it, it's a more grounded X-Men. They have like sci-fi concepts like Demon Bear, where that one's more like a spiritual one. They have time travel stuff, but all of their stories feel very grounded and less like, yes, they're superhero stories, but they're more different. Can the Demon Bear beat the Firecloud Bear? Fellow man of culture. Can the Demon Bear beat the Firecloud Bear? That's a great question. As editor of book, let me think. In all honesty, even though I'm editor of the book, I guess a lot of the Demon Bear's powers are kept a mystery too. That's a good question. I'm gonna think on that. Because the Firecloud Bear. Well, the Demon Bear. All right, because I have both books on my shelf. The Demon Bear. They needed like all the New Mutants to take. How did they end up beating the Demon Bear again? Let me look. I'm not going to spoil it for some of you that haven't read it because it is one of the greatest. So good. I love the Demon Bear saga. That's the annual. Sienkiewicz. It's them training. Where are we? That's the Slumber Party issue. Okay. Bill Sienkiewicz's art is just a visual treat. How do they beat it? Some like crazy shit. There's like some spiritual stuff. So how would they fight Hunter Ninja Bear? Yeah, you know Hunter Ninja Bear, Daxonar? That was the first comic I ever worked on. I was the editor, or not the editor. I was an editor on this book, Hunter Ninja Bear. So the bear from this book, I don't know, man. I'd have to think on it. I'd really have to think on it. Man. Yeah. You can get it on phenomcomics.com. Great book. Get Phenomenova first, though, of course. See, I don't know if I'd even say that because the Justice League Dark is like, correct me if I'm wrong, they specialize in that stuff, right? They're all magic users and whatever. The New Mutants aren't like that. They just happen to be thrust into dark adventures all the time. They don't seek it out, is what I'd say the difference is. They're young characters that just happen to keep finding themselves in crazy, messed up situations. They're never. Another thing is the X-Men are like called out. They're on the attack. The New Mutants aren't like that. They kind of wander into it. Which, to be fair, you know, Kevin Ryan brought up this point. The X-Men kind of used to do the same thing. They wander into trouble all the time. That it was like Scooby-Doo. I would say New Mutants even more so. They just keep wandering into the crazy situations. Can the Demon Bear beat the Firecloud Bear? I'm gonna say. Yes. Yeah, Polaris was X-Men, exactly. Polaris was X-Men. I'm going to say yes, the Demon Bear could beat Fireclad from Hunter Ninja Bear. 49? I thought it was 50. Wasn't Polaris 50? Is it one of those that she appears on the cover of 50, but she first appears? Is that what it is? Okay, yeah. All right, because I have a print signed by Steranko of 50. Okay, she first appears in... Okay, I didn't know that because I thought it was 50 because she's on the cover of that. That's a Steranko print everyone has, but I guess 49 is just when she first appears. So New Mutants is just sorority girls hanging out together. Kind of. I would say that's a kind of a good description, honestly. Like, okay, so Demon Bear, it's Danny is being assaulted by visions of a demon bear, and then they have to fight it. I mean, while the X-Men are away on a mission, I think they were fighting. They were in Secret Wars so while Secret Wars is going on, they're fighting the demon bear. Or some of their early stories, like an alien comes to Earth and attacks them at school. The Sentinels attack them when they're at the mall. They're out hanging out and they get injected with this drug that goes crazy. Warlock, this alien from another planet, crashes in their yard, and then the alien's dad tries to come in and take Warlock back, and it leads them on this crazy adventure. Usually, yeah, the New Mutants, they're not looking for trouble. It just happens. Like they're hanging out. They're training all the time to learn their powers. But I don't think they're ever like New Mutants. You have to do this. Even when Mutant Massacre is going on, because I expected a New Mutants to play a big role in it. They're only in one issue, and that issue is barely even about the massacre. They're just like, oh my God, that's terrible. And then they get attacked by a different villain because they're trying to help out, but they're told not to go in the sewers and fight the Marauders. They're basically seeing what's going on, and they're adjacent to the Mutant Massacre. But even though the X-Men are getting their asses kicked, they're still not being sent in to help the X-Men. That was the New Mutants were kind of just doing their own thing while living in the X-Men's mansion. Because both teams are living there, but usually one of them was away on a mission, the other was at the mansion. They rarely, I don't want to say rarely, they interact. Actually, I shouldn't say that, but usually most of the time, at least one of them was on an away mission at a certain time, is how it was working, which that must have been a pain to plan. But yeah, often they'd be on an away mission. They'd be doing this. Like, so the X-Men are in Secret Wars, so they can't help out with this demon bear that just showed up at school, right? Like that's how New Mutants would go. I might read some New Mutants tonight. Yeah. I'll read some, and then I'll get up early tomorrow. I've been sleeping too much. Oh man. This has been fun. This has been really fun. Yeah. We're talking New Mutants. I love it. So, okay. What else? What's everyone else's favorite New Mutant? Who's everyone else's favorite New Mutant? Well, let's do that before we go. Yes, Phenomenova. I'll send links off in the chat. Everyone make sure to back. We're 16 backers away from everyone getting that free trading card by fan art contest winner Brett Barkley. So if you want it, now is a damn good time to get it. Gambit is my favorite. He's not a New Mutant, god damn it. And plus, we already know yours. Yeah, we can count Cable. Let me ask you this, 40% Zed. Because I notice a lot of the Cable fans are more X-Force fans, which is the era I'm at. But I do feel like New Mutants is becoming a very different series at this point. Next issue I have to read, I'll show it on screen. This is my next issue is this one is my next issue. I've been reading all the spin-offs, which is why it's taking so long. Even the Marvel Comics Presents. So it's been like over a year since I've read my last, or not over a year, but I've read like 2 actual X-Men issues in the last year. But I've read a lot of X-Men material, but like 2 actual X-Men issues because I've been reading all the adjacent stuff and working on that stuff. This is where I'm at. This is my this is going to be tonight's reading, I guess, as I go to bed. Yeah, most people say Magic's the only one that really seems to have any recognition outside of the New Mutants. That and Cable. But Cable's more well known for X-Force. Like Magic is most well known for New Mutants. Cable is more well known for turning New Mutants essentially into X-Force. All right, guys. I'm going to call it a night. I want to get up early and work on my comic tomorrow. But this has been a fun... I got to just do more of these. Just hang out. Talk about it, you know? Dude, that's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, I haven't gotten... Well, I think I've read that issue years ago because I was like reading a classic Deadpool trade. So I do have that, but I don't... I want to reread it, especially in the context of New Mutants. So I have 93 to 100 is what I have left. So Extinction Agenda. I'm almost done with Claremont's... I consider that part of Claremont's run because it's his era. So I'm going to read that whole series. I'm close to the end. But thank you guys so much for watching. Have a great rest of your night. Make sure to share out Phenomenova. Back it if you haven't already. 2 days left on the Kickstarter, but most of you guys know my regular followers. That's why Kickstarter, I have to branch out to the Kickstarter crowd, right? Which they're big. They're a big crowd. Because they've been liking my book. A lot of them are just discovering it, and they're getting it like that. You know, that's one of the things. I don't have to become an entire personality. What I like about a lot of the Kickstarter people is they just see the book. They just go, oh, I want it. Back it. I like that. If you want a real answer, I might go with Warlock. Well, Cable could be a real answer. But yeah, thank you guys. Have a great rest of your day. I'm going to play the trailer for Phenomenova as we head out. Peace out. When the whole world was dragged into World War III, brave men like my father fought on the front lines. And they weren't alone. That was 20 years ago. Now it's up to us to carry on their legacy. And every so often, the earth from which we come gives way for something new. Something greater to be born, and with them, even greater threats to face. Bring it on! Phenomenova. For you, Dad. For you.